The Givre dragon. The Givre was not a lumbering, scaled brute like the northern lindworm, nor a shrieking fire drake that ravaged the sky. It was a serpent dragon of the rivers and glades, a sinuous spirit of water and woodland. Its body was long and supple, often wingless, though in some accounts it bore faint, glimmering fins or vestigial pinions that caught the moonlight when it rose from its pools. The Givre's name itself derives from the Latin vipera, the viper, which slid through medieval French tongues into weaver and then guivre, a reminder that she is, at her heart, the serpent raised to mythic magnitude. To encounter the Givre was to stand at the meeting of beauty and terror, where the waters run deep and the old world still breathes beneath the Christian veil. The Knucker. The Knucker is a thing of wells and marsh hearths, a water dragon with the slow patience of drowned time. Imagine a neck that rises from black water like a broken column, eyes ringed in algae, scales the color of old pewter. It does not roar so much as draw the hush of deep water into itself. The Knucker's appetite is intimate. Cattle, the occasional foolhardy child, a milkmaid's pail, and its lair is measured by the smell of sodden peat and the slick stones of its knucker hole. Villagers tell of charms and riddles used to placate it, of youths who crept with ropes and cunning to its den. Sometimes it is slain by strength, sometimes outwitted by a trick. A salted hide pulled across a bog, a mirror set to confuse it. As folklore remembers it, the Knucker is less a force of cosmic evil than the dark consequence of human neglect. The lake made hostile because its waters were taken for granted. The Tatzelworm. The Tatzelworm is an alpine whisper, part cat, part worm, a creature that belongs to fog and stone. Sketch it not as a titan, but as a snarling, compact horror. A cat-like head with a lip curled in perpetual snarl, short forelimbs or none at all, and a length of writhing serpent body that slides through scree and pine. It is a thing of sudden appearances, the flit of movement over a rut, the echo of a hiss in a narrow pass, and its menace is local and mordant. Shepherds lose flocks near places it haunts. Mountaineers tell of hearing its breath in the night. The Tatzelworm embodies the sharp peril of the high places, an aberrant animal that seems to have been shaped by rock, wind, and cold into something half beast, half geological fault. The Drakon. The Drakon in the medieval imagination is the archetypal dragon, reworked from ancient Greek shadow. Older than knights, older than saints. There is a sapience to the Drakon that other dragons sometimes lack. It watches, reasons, bargains. Picture a great serpent with scales like burnished bronze, eyes that hold ages, and a temperament not merely of hunger but of policy. It keeps lairs because law and craft once bound its name. In many stories, the Draken is guardian of thresholds, temples, oracular seats, buried law, and its defeat is less the violence of muscle than the breaking of an oath, or the unmaking of an old covenant. It lingers in texts as the dragon that questions the hero, as much a judge as an enemy. The Peluda. The Peluda, sometimes called La Velue, meaning the shaggy one, is one of the most striking and strangely symbolic dragons of French medieval lore, born from the marshlands of the Sarthe River near La Ferté-Bernard. It is not a polished, regal dragon like the drakes of legend, but something raw, primeval, and almost pitiful. The kind of monster that seems to have crawled out of the earth's fever dreams. Its body was a grotesque hybrid, the bulk of a dragon crossed with the legs of a tortoise, a serpent's neck, and a tail like a scorpion's sting. Some accounts describe the tail as its true weapon, capable of leveling walls or poisoning entire rivers with a single lash. It could spew fire or water at will, alternately scorching and flooding the lands around it, a reflection of nature's dual cruelty. The peasants feared it not as a mystical dragon of riddles and treasure, but as a living plague. Wherever it passed, it brought famine, disease, and devastation. The Zmai. The Zmai carries with it the heat and rhetoric of Slavic song, often many-headed, sometimes amorous, sometimes wrathful. It is woven into narratives where dragons are persons as much as monsters. Its heads speak, bargain, and betray. It abducts maidens but can also fall into courtly entanglements, a dragon capable of love and of enmity in equal measure. Visualize a creature whose scales mirror the tapestry of rural life. Fields, hearth smoke, and the glint of saber, and whose deeds are recited in long, half-sung epics. The Zamai's dual nature, destructive raider and possible protector, reflects a culture in which the dragon could be a shrine guardian as easily as a ravager, and its stories preserve a social memory of both fear and strangely domestic intimacy with the monstrous. The Phaeton. The python is the older, oracular serpent transposed into Christianized myth. It is the earth's secret, the old prophecy sealed in a coil. Where the Drakon is cunning guardian, the python is the first mouth that spoke against the new order, an ancient oral horror that haunts groves and prophetic places. It is less theatrically winged than heavy with meaning. Its death by god or by hero marks the triumph of revelation, the silencing of one kind of divination. Imagine it as a mass of folded muscle under fig and laurel, a smell of dust and old incense, the carcass left to rot where prophecy was once spoken. The Coca. The Coca is the Iberian shadow dragon, festival beast and fearful reality at once. In the streets it becomes pageant. Papier-mâché jaws, forged scales, a mockery of terror paraded so that townspeople might laugh at what once frightened them. But its older side persists in stories where the Coca is a real predator, swift, with a head that snaps like a sluice gate and a roar that makes roofs rattle. It belongs to the liminal space between ritual and fear, a beast whose image is both a communal talisman against chaos and a reminder of real dangers. The raids of sea and bandit, the unexplained deaths that once required a story to explain them. As my most viewed video yet is the Dragons Explained video, I made another one, so if you want to see more dragon-themed videos, make sure to subscribe and leave your opinions in the comments.